No darkness can dim her light. No storm can put out her flame, and no enemy can silence her roar. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are stepping into a revelation that will shake you, wake you, and ignite something inside of you. We are talking about the unmistakable signs of a woman who doesn't just believe in God, she burns with his presence. A woman who walks in holy fire is a woman who cannot be ignored. Her life is an altar, her words are weapons, and her faith is a force that moves mountains. Let's break it down. 11 signs that prove she walks in holy fire. Foreign, her prayer life is her lifeline. This is not a woman who prays only when she's in trouble. She prays because she lives in communion with God. Her prayers aren't empty words, they are fire-filled declarations that shift the atmosphere. When she speaks, heaven listens and hell trembles. 2, she carries unshakable faith. Her faith doesn't depend on circumstances. Even in the middle of the storm, she knows who is in her boat. When everything around her is falling apart, she still stands strong because her faith is her anchor and her hope is unmovable. Free. She is set apart. A woman walking in holy fire doesn't blend in. She stands out. She's not afraid to live differently, speak differently, and walk differently. She doesn't compromise her values just to fit in. She has been purified, refined, and consecrated by God himself. 4, she walks in courage, not fear. She is bold enough to confront the lies of the enemy. She faces battles head on with a fearless spirit because she knows she is backed by heaven's armies. Fear has no home in a heart that is ablaze with God's fire. 5, she forgives quickly and completely. Unforgiveness cannot survive in the fire. She refuses to let bitterness poison her soul. Forgiveness is her weapon, not weakness. By forgiving, she stays free, keeps her fire burning, and shuts the door on the enemy. 6, she lives a life of purity. This fire cleanses. She guards her heart, her mind, and her spirit. She doesn't entertain things that quench the spirit. Her life is a reflection of holiness, not perfection, but a constant surrender to God's refining work. 7, she carries unexplainable peace. When chaos surrounds her, she doesn't panic. The fire within her gives her a supernatural calm. People look at her and wonder how she can smile when the storm is raging, but her peace is a testimony of who her God is. She has a passion for the Word. The Bible isn't just a book to her, it's her sword, her shield, her daily bread. She doesn't just read the Word, she lives it, breathes it, and speaks it over her life. The fire in her burns brighter because she stays connected to truth. 9, she loves fiercely. This fire transforms how she loves others. Her love is sacrificial, unconditional, and unstoppable. She loves even those who have wronged her because she carries the heart of God. 10, she becomes a light in dark places. Everywhere she goes, she brings the presence of God. When she walks into a room, atmospheres shift. Darkness has to back up because the fire she carries cannot be hidden. 11, she produces fruit that lasts. Her life leaves a mark on generations. Her words, her actions, and her faith create ripples that go far beyond her lifetime. She doesn't just talk about God, she shows him through her life, and people are changed forever. This is what it means to walk in holy fire. And here's the challenge for you today. Don't just listen to these words. Live them. Stop settling for lukewarm living. Stop letting fear, doubt, and compromise dim your flame. Today, choose to be the woman who prays boldly, forgives freely, loves deeply, and walks fearlessly. Rise up, fan the flame within you, and walk in holy fire. Because when you do, you will not just change your life, you will set the world around you ablaze. She lives with unshakable faith that refuses to bow to the storms of life. Her confidence is not rooted in what she sees, but in the one who holds her future. She knows that faith is not just believing when things are easy, it is standing when everything seems to be falling apart. This kind of faith is not casual. It is cultivated through countless nights of prayer, through tears that watered the ground, and through battles that tried to break her but only made her stronger. Her faith is her lifeline, the force that keeps her moving forward when everything around her tells her to give up. She does not crumble under pressure because she has learned that pressure produces power, and power is what ignites her faith to grow even deeper. When others are panicking, she remains calm because she knows the one who can calm every storm. When people say it is impossible, she whispers, "Watch God do it." This woman understands that faith is not about what she feels, but about what she knows. Feelings come and go, but her trust in God stays constant. Even when her emotions are screaming fear, she chooses faith. Even when she cannot trace God's hand, she chooses to trust his heart. She has walked through seasons where nothing made sense, but she refused to let go of her belief that God was still in control. Her faith has been tested in the fire, but instead of being consumed, she has come out refined and shining brighter. Her life is a living testimony that faith is not passive, it is active. She does not just say she believes. She acts like she believes. She prays like she believes. She speaks like she believes. She moves forward even when she cannot see the whole path, because she knows the one who guides her steps never fails. Her faith inspires others because it is not loud for show, but steady like an anchor. She doesn't just have faith when the sun is shining. She has faith when the sky is dark, when the winds are raging, and when she feels like she is walking through fire. She does not just trust God for the small things, but for the impossible things. When the doctor gives a bad report, she still declares healing. When the bank account is empty, she still believes in provision. When people walk away, she still believes God is her source. She has seen God move too many times to doubt him now. Her faith gives her the courage to step out of the boat and walk on the water while others are still afraid to move. Her faith allows her to speak life over dead situations, to declare victory even before the battle is won, to keep standing even after she has been knocked down. This faith is contagious. When people watch her, they feel their own faith rise. She reminds them that it is possible to trust God in every season, that it is possible to hold on when everything inside of you wants to quit, that it is possible to believe when the evidence says you should not. Her faith is the kind that makes demons tremble and heaven move. She refuses to shrink back because she knows that faith without action is dead. Every step she takes is a declaration that she believes God will make a way where there seems to be no way. Every decision she makes is proof that she trusts his promises more than her circumstances. This is why she does not live in fear, because faith and fear cannot rule the same heart. She has chosen to feed her faith until her fear starves to death. She refuses to be silent because she knows her voice is a weapon, and her words carry power. She understands that staying quiet in the face of darkness only allows it to grow stronger. So she speaks up even when it is uncomfortable. She does not whisper truth timidly. She declares it boldly. She speaks life into dead situations, hope into broken hearts, and courage into fearful souls. She knows that silence can be agreement with the enemy, and she refuses to let her silence give him victory. This woman uses her words to build, not to destroy. She chooses to speak faith when others speak fear, to speak peace when others speak panic, and to speak possibility when others see nothing but obstacles. Her voice carries weight because it is filled with conviction and backed by heaven. She does not allow intimidation to shut her down. There were seasons when fear tried to make her hide her voice, when shame tried to make her believe She had nothing worth saying, but she has learned that her voice is her assignment. She knows that if she stays silent, someone will stay bound. Her words might be the key to someone else's breakthrough, and she refuses to withhold them. She understands that her testimony carries power to set others free, so she shares her story without hesitation. She is not afraid to speak against injustice, to confront lies with truth, to call out what is wrong and to defend what is right. Her voice disrupts the plans of the enemy because it carries authority. She has realized that when she opens her mouth, heaven backs her, and that makes her unstoppable. Her refusal to be silent is not about arguing or proving a point. It is about releasing what God has placed inside of her. She speaks with wisdom, not recklessness. Her words are like arrows, sharp, precise, and intentional. She does not waste her voice on gossip, complaining, or negativity because she understands the value of her words. She uses her speech to declare what she wants to see, to call forth the promises of God, to tear down strongholds, and to release blessing over her life and the lives of those around her. Her voice carries faith into the atmosphere and shifts the environment wherever she goes. This is not just about speaking up in public. It is about refusing to be silent in the spiritual realm. She knows that prayer is her loudest weapon in secret places. Her voice roars like thunder in heaven's courts. She prays with authority, declaring God's word until it manifests. She intercedes for her family, her friends, her community, and even for people she does not know, because she understands that her prayers can change lives. She refuses to let the enemy have the last word, so she keeps speaking until she sees victory. Her boldness inspires others to find their voice too. When others see her courage to speak truth, they feel empowered to do the same. She becomes an example of what it looks like to live fearlessly, to stand firm in faith, and to refuse to be silenced by intimidation. She understands that her voice is not just hers. It is a vessel for light to break into dark places, for healing to flow where there was pain, for chains to break where there was bondage. She guards her fire with everything she has because she knows it is sacred. She understands that the fire inside of her was not given lightly. It was birthed through seasons of struggle, through prayers that felt unanswered, through tears that nobody saw, and through battles that nearly broke her. She knows that once a fire is lit, it can either grow brighter or fade away, so she protects it with fierce intentionality. She does not let just anything or anyone into her spirit, because she knows that the wrong voices, the wrong environments, and the wrong habits can smother what God has placed in her. She is careful about what she watches, what she listens to, and who she allows to speak into her life. She is not easily swayed by the noise of the world because she has learned to tune her ears to the voice of God. She is vigilant about removing distractions that pull her away from her purpose. If something threatens to drain her passion, she lets it go. If a relationship dims her light, she creates distance. If an activity quenches her spirit, she walks away from it. She is not willing to sacrifice her fire just to keep people pleased or comfortable. She knows that not everyone will understand the passion she carries. And she is at peace with that. Her fire was not meant to make her popular. It was meant to keep her holy, to keep her focused, to keep her moving forward in what she was called to do. Every day, she fuels her fire with prayer, worship, and the word. She does not wait until she feels like it. She disciplines herself to stay connected to her source. She knows that fire does not stay lit on its own. It requires tending. She has built habits that keep her spirit strong and her faith sharp. She spends time in the presence of God, and that presence fills her with fresh strength and fresh vision. She does not allow her fire to grow cold by neglecting it, because she understands that a neglected flame can easily be extinguished. She is intentional about staying surrounded by people who also carry fire. She knows that fire sparks fire, that passion grows when she is around others who are burning for the same things. She chooses community wisely because she knows that her circle can either fan her flame or put it out. She surrounds herself with encouragers, intercessors, and people who challenge her to grow deeper, pray harder, and believe bigger. She does not allow gossip, negativity, or spiritual laziness to contaminate her atmosphere. Guarding her fire also means protecting her peace. She refuses to let drama or chaos steal her focus. She keeps her heart clean from offense and her mind clear from doubt. She recognizes when the enemy is trying to distract her, and she quickly shuts the door on anything that would drain her spiritual strength. She chooses forgiveness so her fire will not be suffocated by bitterness. She chooses gratitude so her fire will not be smothered by complaint. She chooses hope so her fire will not be put out by despair. Her life is proof that guarding the fire is not just about protecting her passion, it is about protecting her purpose. She understands that her fire is a gift, a responsibility, and a weapon. She knows that if she keeps her fire burning, no darkness can overtake her, no storm can break her, and no plan of the enemy can prevail against her. She forgives and stays free because she understands that unforgiveness is a prison that keeps the heart bound while the other person continues to live their life unaffected. She has learned that forgiveness is not about excusing what was done to her, but about releasing the weight that tries to suffocate her spirit. She knows that carrying anger, resentment, or bitterness only burns out the fire within, so she chooses to let go even when it is hard. Forgiveness for her is not a one-time act. Sometimes it is a daily decision, a constant surrender of pain, betrayal, and disappointment to the one who can heal her heart. She knows that forgiveness is a form of spiritual warfare, a weapon that disarms the enemy because he thrives on division, hatred, and offense. When she forgives, she takes back her power, refusing to let what happened to her define her or control her future. She does not wait for an apology to extend forgiveness, because she understands that waiting on someone else to make things right keeps her bound to their actions. She forgives because her peace is worth more than her pride. She forgives because she wants to be free, to move forward without carrying the poison of the past. Even when her emotions still feel raw, she chooses forgiveness as an act of obedience and trust, knowing that healing will follow. She knows that forgiveness does not mean reconciliation with every person, nor does it mean putting herself back in harm's way, but it does mean releasing the grip of bitterness so her soul can breathe again. Her forgiveness keeps her heart clean, which keeps her fire burning. Bitterness is like ashes that smother the flame, and she refuses to let that happen. She understands that holding on to offense can block blessings, delay answers to prayer, and weigh her spirit down. She has learned that there is strength in letting go. Strength to rise above what tried to break her, strength to see beyond the pain, strength to trust that God will deal with those who wronged her far better than she ever could. She also uses forgiveness as a tool of growth. Every hurt she releases becomes a stepping stone that lifts her higher. She learns from her wounds, but she does not live in them. She allows forgiveness to turn her pain into wisdom, her sorrow into compassion, her scars into testimonies. Because she forgives, she can look back at what once hurt her without feeling the sting. She can speak about her past without anger in her voice because she has truly been set free. Her decision to forgive creates a ripple effect. People around her notice her peace, her joy, her ability to love despite what she has been through. Her example challenges others to release their grudges and walk in freedom too. She teaches without even using words that forgiveness is not weakness. It is one of the most powerful things a person can do. It takes courage to forgive, courage to bless those who cursed you, courage to pray for those who hurt you, courage to keep your heart soft when life has given you reasons to harden it. She brings heaven to earth everywhere she goes, because the presence she carries is not ordinary. She is more than just someone who believes she is a living vessel of divine light. When she enters a room, there is a shift that cannot be explained in natural terms. People feel peace without knowing why. The atmosphere changes because she carries something greater than herself. Her life is a channel through which heaven's power flows, and it affects everyone around her. She does not have to force it or try to impress anyone, because the fire within her speaks louder than words. Her presence reminds people that God is near, that hope is real, and that light will always overcome darkness. She lives with a constant awareness that her steps are ordered, her words are significant, and her actions carry eternal weight. She does not waste opportunities to be a reflection of God's love. When she encounters someone who is hurting, she becomes a source of comfort. When she sees someone struggling, she offers encouragement that lifts their spirit. When she meets someone who has lost faith, her words breathe life into their soul again. She knows that every moment is an opportunity to reveal the kingdom of God through how she lives, speaks, and responds to the world around her. Her presence becomes a safe place for others. People feel that they can be vulnerable around her because she carries grace instead of judgment. They come to her for wisdom because they can sense she is connected to something higher. She does not just give them her opinions. She points them toward truth that can transform them. She is a walking invitation for others to experience what she has experienced, and that is what makes her influence so powerful. She does not have to manipulate or control people. Her authenticity draws them in. Even in difficult places, she brings light. When she walks into chaos, she brings order. When she steps into an environment full of negativity, she lifts it with hope. When she faces hostility, she responds with calmness that disarms the tension. She does not allow the darkness of her surroundings to change her. Instead, she changes the atmosphere with what she carries. This is because she stays filled with the Spirit, allowing her to overflow wherever she goes. She does not keep her faith hidden. She lives it boldly, knowing that someone might be watching who needs the courage to believe again. She also carries heaven into her home, her workplace, and every space where her feet tread. Her family benefits from the prayers she prays, the peace she maintains, and the example she sets. Her children see what faith looks like in action. Her coworkers feel the difference when she enters the room, because she refuses to engage in gossip or negativity, and instead she speaks life. Her community is better because she is in it. She plants seeds of kindness, generosity, and encouragement everywhere she goes, knowing that one act of love can produce fruit she may never see with her own eyes. She has learned that bringing heaven to earth is not about perfection, but about availability. It is about being willing to be used, willing to listen, willing to speak when prompted, willing to be silent when necessary, and willing to act when others are hesitant. She is not passive. She is intentional about carrying light into dark spaces, about becoming an instrument of healing, about being a reflection of God's heart to a world that is desperate to see Him. She becomes a legacy maker because she understands that her life is not just about her. It is about those who come after her. Everything she does is planting a seed for future generations. And she lives with the awareness that her choices today will echo beyond her lifetime. She prays not just for her own needs, but for the future of her children, grandchildren, and even those she may never meet. Her faith is generational. She believes that the battles she fights now will make the path easier for those who will walk behind her. Her victories become their inheritance, and her prayers become the foundation upon which they can build. She lives in a way that leaves a mark on others. People People remember her kindness, her strength, her words, and her example. She does not waste her time chasing temporary things that will fade away. She invests her energy in what will last: faith, love, character, and truth. She pours into people because she knows that people are the real treasure of life. She mentors, she teaches, she encourages, and she builds. She refuses to let her story end with her. She wants her life to be a light that continues to shine even after she is gone. Her legacy is seen in the way she loves. She is consistent, dependable, and sacrificial in her love for others. Those around her feel valued, seen, and uplifted because she makes an intentional effort to pour into their lives. She is not just a hearer of the word, she is a doer. Her actions match her faith, and that consistency is what gives her influence. People may forget what she said, but they will never forget how she made them feel, and that is what keeps her impact alive in their hearts long after she has moved on. She leaves behind a spiritual blueprint for those who look up to her. She shows them how to pray through hard seasons, how to forgive when it hurts, how to stand strong when life feels overwhelming, and how to trust God even when answers seem delayed. She demonstrates that it is possible to live a holy and purposeful life in a world that constantly tries to distract and discourage. She lives in a way that inspires others to rise higher, to believe bigger, to keep going no matter what comes their way. She is not perfect, but even her struggles become part of her legacy because she uses them to teach others. She is transparent about where she has been and how far God has brought her. She uses her scars as testimonies that healing is possible, that redemption is real, and that transformation can happen to anyone who is willing to surrender. Her life is proof that God can take broken pieces and make them beautiful, and that message continues to inspire long after she has spoken it. She understands that legacy is not about leaving behind material possessions, but about leaving behind faith, wisdom, courage, and a spiritual heritage that others can build on. She pours herself into her purpose fully so that when her time is over, there will be no doubt that she lived intentionally. Her name may never be written in history books, but it will be written on the hearts of those she touched, and her influence will ripple through time in ways that cannot be measured.